It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like the jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the History Boys Abroad podcast. My name is Graham and I'm here as always with my co-host Tony.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. And you?
Not bad, not bad. Did you know that Anton Rogan had 15 siblings?
I did know that.
Did you? Oh, okay. Cool. So I'm not telling you anything new.
Nah.
This week we are going to tell new things to people because we're going to be telling stories and anecdotes and general trivia about the road to Seville. We're going to be starting with part 1, which is going to encompass the first 4 ties, including the first tie, which was actually a Champions League qualifier, and then the first 3 rounds of the tournament. So that includes Basel in the Champions League qualifier, then we're going to Suduva, Blackburn, and then finishing off this episode with Celta Vigo.
Yeah.
So, Basel, I've always spoken to my friends about how we seem to have this knack of playing teams that are just becoming good. So you think about Basel, and then obviously in this run we'll be talking about Porto later on.
Yeah.
And Villarreal, which we played the season afterwards.
Yeah.
We just seem to catch these teams that were like, not, I mean, obviously they've got histories and stuff like that, but no one had really thought about them beforehand. I mean, I think following the fact that Celtic, this was 2 in a row we were going for. We'd just come off 2 in a row. We'd just, in the season before, we'd played in the Champions League group stages. We'd get 9 points in our groups.
Yeah,
we had beaten Ajax in the qualifier. So getting Basel in this qualifier, I think most of the Celtic family were thinking, we're going to go into the Champions League. Can you remember what you thought at the time?
Like, being Basel, I didn't really know a great deal about them at the time. You just think the third qualifying round, Swiss team, didn't really know much about them, and then they turned up at Celtic Park and we sort of gave them a bit of a doon. I do remember that they had a lot of South American players at that time who, through the research, found that they did actually score quite a lot of goals for Basel. Like the guy Jimenez scores the goal in the home leg against Celtic within the first 2 minutes.
Yep.
And he was a bit of a pain in the arse for both ties. Small things that I remember about the game would be their strip looking like Barcelona. They looked like a diet Barcelona, and they also had the Nike badge as well. But we win that game 3-1, and you think that's a cushion. Obviously they get the away goal, which you don't really want to give away many away goals. You don't want to give any away, but the away goal, then you score 3, you repeat that with you follow up the goal that they score in 2 minutes by, Larsson scores in 4 minutes, so Larsson scores 2 minutes. It's an instant response, and then 2 more after that, and you're like comfortable, but you still have that thing in the back of your mind. And obviously you go over to Switzerland, and as you say, they were kind of on the ascendancy. This is when these sort of smaller teams started becoming more prominent. You mentioned Porto, Villarreal, but Basel, and then we go away and we lose 2-0, and they score 2 goals within the first 22 minutes, and Celtic didn't really turn up. But my overriding memory of that game, the first game was just like, alright, that's good, quite, we're pretty much guaranteed to go through, and it's the third qualifying round, so we're straight into the group stages after that, I think. And then the away game, it was just fucking so deflating. Absolutely fucking deflating.
I never watched the away leg. I was at the home leg, and I remember thinking, because Henrik misses a penalty in the first leg, which would have made it obviously 4-1, or like overall it could have been 4-1. And they kind of just looking at newspaper articles, I think the Record was saying Celtic have given themselves an excellent chance. Christian Gross came out and said, we're confident we can still do it, but it's going to be hard. So there was
it's a standard response from a manager.
Exactly, but there's this kind of idea that Celtic have got a good result in that first leg. The only thing I can see is that Neil Lennon says that they were one of the best teams they've played in Europe.
Yeah.
And I remember that at that game, the home game, they created more chances at that home game than the likes of like Porto and Rosenborg had done the season before in the Champions League. You know?
Yeah.
So they just had this kind of pace of movement and pace of passing that was it was something we hadn't seen for a while. So
aye, like a classic European side, they come and offer something completely different from what you're used to. And as I say, they had a lot of South Americans there that, what like that Jimenez, he went on and played for Marseille and other teams like that and scored a lot of goals in his career. So they also had Yakin brothers, which kind of a running joke with Celtic fans. We were always linked with Hakan and his brother played as well, and they actually go on. I think, did we not play against a team when he was the manager at some stage recently? But anyway, that's besides the point. But I like a slick European side that sort of turned up and gave Celtic a bit of a fright. And obviously we went and scored 3 goals straight after they scored the opener. Gave us a bit of a fright, and then you go over there and it's just nothing. Although we did have a chance near the end of the away leg, Sutton sort of balloons it, and it should have been a goal. But it just seems, I was reading that after the game, the Celtic players didn't want to do any press. They just went straight onto the bus, and then the press sort of tried to get a hold of the Celtic players, and I think Lennon answered an SOS to come back for an interview, and he came back and done interviews on behalf of the players and stuff like that. But that was it. Straight, we drop out, and then obviously if we'd won that game, if Sutton had put that shot in near the end in the second leg, we'd have probably went through, and then we wouldn't be doing this podcast. We would be talking about something else, because the road to Seville begins after Basel.
Exactly, it's a weird situation. Just looking back at the kind of press at that time, our friend in the press, Keith Jackson, mentioned it as the fans were left to contemplate the long journey home, knowing the best they will get in return is the crack at the consolation prize of the UEFA Cup.
Aye, when you go back and you read through all these articles and the paper clippings on the Celtic Wiki website, because they're all there for everyone to see. Like some amazing person has scanned them in. You see Jim Trainer's fingers, fat, grubby, stinking fingers, shite smelling fingers all over the articles, and Keith Jackson as well.
Ian King, remember Ian King?
Bill Leckie, Ian King, all these fucking droids. But yeah.
I was actually in, just after that game, I was in holiday in Zakynthos in Greece, and we went to a trip to Athens, and this Panathinaikos fan was like taking the piss out of me because obviously we'd just been put out of the Champions League, and I said to him, my friend always reminds me of this, I said to him that but we'll win the UEFA Cup. So obviously I fucked that right up as well, but I was almost there. I got quite close, but my prediction was not up there. But fuck it. I hope he's listening, that Greek bastard that was laughing at us, because Panathinaikos have won fuck all ever.
They have a good strip though.
They have the old vertical. So that took us on to the 19th of September, where we made our bow in the UEFA Cup for that season. I don't like the Europa League. I just still call it UEFA Cup because that is the name of the tournament. And we played the Lithuanian team Suduva, which was the start of the V for victory trend that would go throughout the tournament. I liked this article. It's from the Suduva boss Petros Alisauskas. He said in an article where he was headlined as saying he's going to beg for mercy, he said, "To be honest, our Lithuanian players are quite afraid of the Scots. Please tell the Scots to show mercy on us. We just hope the Scots don't smash us completely. That could ruin us."
Fair enough, and it was quite a prescient call because Celtic go on and hammer them 8-1. I think it's one of Celtic's, if not the biggest result we've had in Europe.
Lovely piece of interplay. Look at Healy flowing forward. There's a chance. David Fernandez is going to lob the goalkeeper, and it's in. This time it does count. A beautiful move by Celtic. They open the scoring, and although Fernandez has injured himself, with 12 minutes gone, an immaculate piece of play from midfield, and finished very coolly by a man who showed with Livingston he could do exactly that. Hodgson, Thompson, Maloney, very deep Maloney. Agat, dementing this man in front of him, he really is. Healy, now McNamara. Curving ball, Hodgson with his beady eye on it. That's a beautiful ball inside. That's it. Second one as Alan Thompson read that beautifully. I mean, you could see Hodgson looking at it. Might have gone for himself, and all he did, nonchalantly, heading it down into the...
So, the Suduva, I mean, this is one of the ties that no one really seems to remember. obviously because it's a mad Lithuanian side from a really small city called Marijampolė, which is actually closer to Poland than it is to the capital of Lithuania, which is Vilnius. But they were playing in the lower leagues until the season before this, and this is the sort of they sort of went up to. It's called the A Liga, which is basically the Premiership of Lithuanian football, and they've been there ever since. So I think they saw this as this season was the 2002-2003 season is when they got promoted, and they've stayed there ever since. And that's kind of the beginning of them being semi-successful. They beat Brann of Norway 3-2 twice to play Celtic in what was the this round of the UEFA Cup. And they basically got into the UEFA Cup via the Lithuanian Football Cup. They were runners-up. They got beat off some other team, but the other team had basically some other team. The other team had won the league, so it just gets passed down, and they get the chance to come in and play against Celtic. And we know how it goes. It was 8-1. Larsson scored a hat-trick. Now, a guy on Twitter, Chris, KRYS, 1888, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Aye, okay. He seems quite sound. He's regularly tweeting and having chats and that. He's right. Like that final goal by Larsson, the one the hat-trick one. Well, I think this is probably my favourite goal, although Petrov's was a peach. I think that it probably wasn't over the line. What do you think? That Larsson's.
I don't know. I don't want to take it off Hank, but it kind of looks a bit dodgy. But fuck it.
Aye, so I think that was probably the best goal because of the movement. It's mad that you're watching all these goals that Larsson scored and his movement and everything he does is just amazing. He could beat a man. He was fast. He was skillful. He looked very slight, but he was strong. And as we know, he goes on and scores, I don't know, maybe 40 goals or something this season, maybe 44 goals he scores overall. We're only covering the first. We've just spoke about Basel, that's that. But now we're going to do Suduva. The next game is Blackburn, and the next games are Vigo. Larsson scores his 28th goal before November, 25th goal maybe, or 28th goal, something like that before before December, which is incredible. Man. I'm sort of pining for him a wee bit. I got a bit of a storky just watching it all back. A sad storky, mind you. But anyway, the Celtic team, the classic 3-5-2, and someone that actually played a lot of games in this run was Ulrik Larsson, who is constantly overlooked. Nobody remembers this guy, although I do. He was another big, tall Scandinavian guy. So we had Douglas, Valharin, Baldi, Larsson, Silla, Lennon, Lambert, Petrov, Guppy, Sutton, Larsson, and it was basically just a walk in the park. But as I say, I think Larsson's goal was probably the third goal was probably the best, but Petrov scored an absolute beezer as well.
Yeah, I like the quote from one of the coaches, Algemantes Gabris. He said, "We didn't expect to win the game, but we didn't expect this kind of scoring."
Yeah, and they got absolutely pumped.
There was an article in the paper. I was trying to look for it online. There was an article in the paper just before the final of the tournament that year, and they were interviewing Suduva players, and one of them was answering the questions as if Celtic Park had been his Vietnam. He was basically saying they just passed, and we couldn't get the ball off them. I wish I was able to find that quote, but it was brilliant. I think we traumatised quite a few of the players.
Aye. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
The Celtic just rolled on them. I think Larsson was getting a little bit of criticism before this game, because he hadn't scored in maybe 2 or 3 games. And there was sort of talk that he was getting old and stuff like that. Obviously, the rest was history because he still goes on and scores loads and loads and loads of goals for Celtic. And obviously goes on and wins things at other clubs. But we tried to find people that went to the Suduva away game, which, I don't know, seems to be very, very difficult to find people that were there are not online or whatever. They don't know that we were doing this, but that's fine. Suduva away. Now we're into October, the 3rd of October. Normal. The manager decides to sort of flex the depth of the squad, and we did have a ridiculously large squad at this point. I'm not going to name the players, but I think we had about approximately 30 to 40 players that he could have picked. So he rotated.
There was 5 goalkeepers in the squad for that season, including Hedman and Javier Sanchez-Brotto, Gould and Douglas.
Well, Gould started the second game, Douglas started the first game, so it was Gould, McNamara, Kennedy, Craney, Agat, Healy, Thompson, Fernandez, Peta, Maloney and Hartson, and Fernandez scored and Thompson scored.
That's a game that Fernandes scores and then gets like kneed in the face by the goalkeeper.
Aye, he takes one right to the pus. He gets cleaned out and he doesn't even know. He says that after the game, he's like, I didn't see the ball go in, I didn't know the ball had went in. And you see, I think it's Hartson that helps him up to try and like make sure he's okay, and he's just completely disorientated.
Aye. So that took us on to probably the first big win of the campaign.
That's the Blackburn game. So the draw for the Blackburn game was on the 8th of October, and that takes us up to Blackburn when the first round was on the 31st of October.
Well, it started at one heck of a pace. It's like an old firm game at the moment, and I know all about that here. Here's David Thompson. He can strike them from distance, and that whistles past the right-hand post of Rab Douglas. Taking on Johansson, and that was Petrov, and what a good header and a point-blank range save from Stilian Petrov by Brad Friedel.
Well, Friedel played magnificently at Highbury and almost just picked it up where he left off. That was a magnificent save. Really the first attacking opportunity from Celtic. They carved them open. Good cross from Argat, and really Petrov, if he'd have probably headed it down, Friedel had no chance, but he just somehow got his arm to it, going the wrong way.
Now then, 2-guy to Neil for Blackburn. Erstenstadt, it ran on a little bit here. David Thompson, good save by Rab Douglas.
What a boring start this has been, hasn't it? Fantastic stuff. Just a little deflection by Erstenstadt, took it and wrong-footed the defence. I think Thompson on his right foot would have scored, and his left just put it a nice height. Good save by Douglas, but one I would have expected him to make once you see the shot.
Duff. Oh, he's taking them on here, Damien Duff. Oh, and it was a decent looking cross at first, but it was just too long, really. Little Thompson was the player furthest away from Duff on the far post. 2-guy. David Dunn. Oh, good effort, and Rab Douglas forced to turn it round.
Well, that's done at his best. Likes to play in the centre and get those shooting opportunities on his right foot. Hit it well enough, a nice height for Douglas, just got a touch, didn't it, deflection, so he didn't take any chances trying to catch it.
Taylor and Short have come forward, and this is done again. Another chance to shoot, and he won't hesitate. He's a good, strong performer, David Dunn, local lad, as they say these days. Aren't many of those these days, are they? Come from Great Harwood near Blackburn. Andy Cole with the flick back. Oh, and David Thompson nearly capitalising. Good movement from Blackburn again. But Silla has made the break for Celtic. Just half stopped in his tracks there. He's got Hartson to his left. Nobody else much around at the moment. But this is Hartson. And that's been deflected. That's going to be a corner to Celtic.
There was an isolated break there, and Martin O'Neill getting everyone up, because if they could prize a goal, 1-0 would be a terrific scoreline when you think of what's gone before the previous 84 minutes.
Absolutely. So Thompson goes across to take the corner. Valheren's in the penalty area. And so are many others here. John Hartson up! Oh, what a save by Finland! Henrik Larsson was there! And Celtic have scored! Henrik Larsson has got the goal that means so much to Celtic on 85 minutes. Martin O'Neill's substitution pays off because of the presence, first of all, of John Hartson.
So Blackburn qualified for the tournament by winning the Sam Worthington Cup in England, and do you remember how Blackburn arrived in Glasgow for the game?
It's one of the overriding memories I have of that whole day. That week. They thought, I don't know, it makes sense, I guess, but they arrived via train at Central Station.
Aye. And walked, basically, as soon as got the squad, and walked him through Glasgow Central. And I mean, he went about the whole tie trying to wind up Celtic as much as possible.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't work because we went on to pump them. But yeah, just some quotes after the game from Souness in the same kind of way. I was disappointed by the crowd. I thought it would be more hostile. And then he said, it was meant to be a big test of our character, of some of our younger players, but the truth is it was a breeze. And this is a guy that's speaking after getting beat 1-0 in a game. And he was talking about it being a breeze.
Yeah.
So why was he talking about it being a breeze, Tony?
Because he's a troll.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's ironic that we were playing a troll on Halloween, and I couldn't actually find any confirmation that Tugai was dressed up as a wee dick. But he definitely was a wee dick. So Tugai was dressed up as a wee dick in that Halloween game.
Yeah. And also Souness stayed in the toilets for the kickoff. So he avoided all the kind of pre-match vile from the Celtic fans by just hanging about in the toilet. I would like to think that he was just hanging about in the toilets, terrified to come out.
Aye. Almost certainly. And did you know that in the run-up to that game, he asked the Huns, the Deed Huns, if they could use their training facilities, which he says they wanted to practice like specific drills at their training ground. I think it was like set piece practice. I'm not sure, but he was saying, if we were playing Rangers, we would have asked Celtic for the same courtesy.
What do you fuck?
But absolutely not, man. But apparently it was a 50-mile round trip from their hotel just to go and do the training. So obviously he's going there just to sort of cosy in with the Huns, obviously.
He's like a kind of poor man's Alex Ferguson, trying to do all the kind of fucking kidology and all the mind games before. But Martin O'Neill was probably just dinging them completely.
Well, I read that him and Martin O'Neill had a little bit of a beef where it stemmed from both of them when they were players. And I looked up. I don't know if it's a famous photo, but there's a photo of the two of them sort of tackling each other. I think O'Neill was playing for Notts County and Souness for Liverpool, and I think Souness crunched him, and his standard hammer throwing Hun mentality sort of halved him, and there was a little bit of a underlying issue there. But
there's a quote from one of the newspapers where it says basically that Souness hastened the end of Martin O'Neill's career with a tackle. So that's probably the tackle you're talking about.
That's exactly it. But let's get on with this game, because obviously it's quite a tense game, and I think that Blackburn, you would argue that they probably deserved something from the game. You know, Celtic obviously win 1-0. We don't score until the last 5-6 minutes of the game when Larsson scores the goal. But you would argue, like from looking back and going over it again, you do see that they had most possession, they had more shots on target, they had a lot of play, they had most of the attacking possession. So I would argue that a draw would have been fair, but it just goes to show that Celtic were quite sneaky and they managed to pop up with a goal in the 84th minute.
Aye, I mean, when you look at the stats, it doesn't suggest that we were on top, but it doesn't say that they were either. You know what I mean? Like, they had more possession of the ball, but we had more shots with the same amount of corners as well, and they fouled us more than we fouled them. So it's not as if they fucking overran us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a kind of like battle. It was both teams are going for it. We didn't play as well as we could have. And obviously you had the quotes afterwards from Gary Flitcroft, which started the whole. Gary Flitcroft made Henrik Larsson swear, and for that I'll never forgive him.
They said we were shit.
Yeah. So that is the Larsson quote in the next leg. But yeah, Gary Flitcroft said it was men against boys, and not one of their players impressed me. He said
the exact, well, not the exact quote, but to further that quote, he said the gaffer said it was men against boys, and we all agree with him.
Yeah,
we all agreed with him. So again, as soon as he starts sticking his nose out and sort of slating Celtic, which you kind of expect, and then he sort of drilled that into his players. I should add that like Blackburn had an okay team. They had like Damien Duff, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Keith Gillespie, David Thompson, Tugai, Lucas Neal, Brad Friedel was the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they were an okay English Premiership side. So it wasn't like, and that's this whole Battle of Britain thing started. But you know, Celtic are Celtic, global brand, still to this day a global brand, even bigger. We've won the European Cup, we've been at the final again, we've won a lot, and Blackburn I couldn't even point to Blackburn on a map. You know what I mean? What have they ever, obviously they won the Premiership one season, but apart from that, it's just they're a nobody. But
Maybe there was more expectation on this, and I think British media thought when Blackburn came to Celtic Park it was going to be much harder for them. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. The game is over 180 minutes. It doesn't need to be won at Celtic Park. And just looking at I think it was on the Celtic Wiki. They've got the kind of the Guardian Live. You know how they do the minute by minute.
I was really surprised that the Guardian were doing minutes by minutes back then. So we're talking 14 years ago.
Yeah. But one of the comments really riled me. It was somehow Celtic managed to win a game they should have lost 5 or 6 goals.
Nah, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I was at that game, and it could have been 1 each, it could have been nothing each, or it could have been 1-0 to either team. But 5 or 6 goals, suck my dick, Guardian. I bet it was that fucking Barry Glendenning, the cunt.
The dick. Nah, but I'll just take you quickly through the starting 11 that we put out that day. So it's the second round, 31st of October, and we win 1-0. It was Douglas, Fulharan, Baldy, Larsson, Agat, Lennon, Lambert, Petrov, Thompson, Larsson, Sutton. What a team.
Yeah. What
a team. And Hartson came off the bench, and Hartson was in a roundabout way gave the assist to Larsson. It was quite an easy goal for Larsson to score. One of the simplest sort of tap-ins he'll ever really have to do. I think Hartson does most of the work for that. But that takes us into the second game, and this is when like the press were sort of ramping all this Battle of Britain shite up.
Yep.
Which kind of really stuck in my fucking throat a little bit because, as I say, the Blackburn are a team of nobody. They are a team from nowhere. They're a team of kind of nobody's mediocrity personified.
Form to get them off to the perfect start against Blackburn tonight. Larsson and Hartson are expected to spearhead the attack, and make no mistake, the Hoops will be going for that away goal.
We're going to attack. We have to get the ball to attack for a start, and we didn't get much of it in the first half against them there. But we improved second half, and we'll definitely play better than we did a fortnight ago.
Celtic were criticised heavily for their performance in the first leg, and the players feel they've now got a point to prove tonight.
It's not just an important game for the club and the fans, it's important for the players as well. We want to go down and we do want to put on a performance. We're a bit disappointed coming away from the first game, but I suppose that's a good thing when you can come away disappointed and you still got a goal start, so we know we can play a lot better and we're determined to do it.
8,000 Celtic fans will pass Amy Park tonight, and they are certainly confident their team will progress to the next round, the UEFA Cup.
2-0 Celtic, absolutely. Henry Larsson, the two of them. Yep.
I'll go for 2-0 to Celtic tonight. Goal scorers, anybody in green and white. How good would it be for Celtic fans to get one over Graham Souness? Magnificent! As Martin would say, tremendous. While Celtic's preparations have been going well ahead of this second leg, Blackburn's haven't.
We play anything at all, like the home night against Valencia. And we play against, as we did at home against Juventus, or even away against Juventus. And we play Porto and Rosenborg. We'll go through.
So I went down to this was my first European away tie. I got a crate of Stella Artois, warm bottles of Stella Artois, and took it in the supporters bus. And going down to Blackburn, there was a lot of kind of anti-Scottish stuff when we got there. It was a case of they seen all of us as like IRA sympathisers, and maybe they're right, but it was an amazing away trip. We got down there and we went into, I don't know where it was because I was fucking steaming by the time I got there. We went into a supporters club and there was just like rebel songs on, and there was this big tricolour in the middle of the floor and everything, and we just stayed. It was like a nightclub, but it was open during the day. And I think in our supporters bus, the vast majority of people had fake tickets, and that was something that ended up holding up the kick-off, because I think like 12,000 were trying to get in, and there was only 8,000 seats.
Yeah.
At that, when I realised that was happening, someone said something in the nightclub that we were at. I decided just to go to the ground, and I get in quite early. So
before kick-off? Before kick-off.
I was there about an hour before kick-off. I went down to the front of the stand, and it was Rob Douglas and Johnny Gould warming up, like getting the goalkeeper warm up. And I was shouting like Rob Douglas, just over and over. So I was fucking steaming, and he wouldn't turn around and wave to me. So I started shouting for Johnny Gould, and Johnny Gould turned around and waved. So the rest of the like a half hour, from 10 metres away, I was screaming Johnny Gould, Johnny Gould, Johnny Gould. The guy must have wanted to come over and punch me in the fucking face, man. It was brilliant. But that was one of the best away trips. Like they said there was 8,000 Celtic fans there. I didn't have a seat. It was standing room only. Like we were all pressed. There must have been about 10,000-12,000 people in that stand, and you couldn't sit down because there was just so many people. The people were picked. Apparently, I read in one of the articles that the tickets were going for $1,000 each, and that some of the stewards were getting like offered money to give fans their high vis vests so that they could go in as stewards. It was crazy, but the best thing I remember about that tie was just the constant chanting of "Hello, hello, it's men against boys" for fucking 90 minutes, man. It was just the whole stand was jumping up and down by that song, and Souness must have been fucking bailing, man.
Not a lot of shape to the game so far, really. It's hectic. Lennon. He's trying to slow it down a bit. Balde. To Agat. And now Chris Sutton. Can he? Oh, Hartson slipped. Oh, Henrik Larsson, surely for Celtic. Yes, he has. He has scored for the second time in this tie, Henrik Larsson, and he sends the green and white hoops into an orgy of delight with the vital, or could be, away goal for Martin O'Neill. Blackburn's defence were dreaming, and you can't do that against Henrik Larsson. A record goal scorer for Scottish clubs in Europe. He hasn't had many easier ones. Hartson caused trouble. Larsson was unmarked and took it tidily.
Well, when the ball was knocked in, I thought Sutton was playing it to Hartson, but they overhit it, they both slipped, and suddenly Larsson is clear. I thought that touch had taken it too close to the goalkeeper. I thought he was going to hit it early. Then you've got to say it was wonderful finishing, just to lift it over Friedel as it came out.
Yes, it was the opening itself that looked so easy because there were no defenders around, but how well he took advantage, Henrik Larsson, and his record now quite staggering. That was his 178th goal for Celtic in 225 games. What it means is Celtic are now 2-0 up on aggregate. They have the away goal. Blackburn have to score 3.
I believe that Alex Ferguson and Carol Fogarty were also in the crowd.
They were. I also picked that up on the wonderful Celtic Wiki. Bit of a random piece of trivia, but yeah.
Just looking at some of the headlines from the articles on that, like the press seems to have turned around completely. Oliver Holt said we played like aristocrats and made English football look poor indeed.
I've got the exact quote right here.
Yeah, and that we were tactical and technically superior. They beat Blackburn into submission with some wonderful flowing football.
Free-flowing football. And O'Neill's gamble of playing Sutton in an unfamiliar role behind the front two. So basically, we went down there. Now Lambert got dropped.
Yep.
Because we went more attacking. I assume he got dropped for Hartson, and then we played Hartson and Larsson up front with Sutton behind, which turned out to be a masterstroke. In the first game against Blackburn, as soon as we scored the goal, I think we took Lambert off and put Hartson on it. There was a substitute, and we made this we done the opposite substitute in the second game, so it was Lambert for Hartson, and we brought Lambert on in the second leg to sort of shore up the defence, and obviously it worked. But I should point, I don't know if you know this, but Larsson was the captain for the entire game. There's
a picture of Larsson. I don't know if I've actually got it written down here. I've got it written here. Picture of Henk is hurdling Friedel, so it's just as he scores, so he's jumping over Friedel. The ball's going into the net, and Larsson's got the captain's armband on. And I actually had to stop myself from undoing my belt and just fucking going for it with it in front of his computer screen. It just looks like a fucking god, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant captain.
Yes. Oh yeah, he was. Celtic won 2-0. We dominate the game. We deserve to go through. You're right. We get all the plaudits. Sutton's goal was fucking sensational goal. Absolutely brilliant goal. And you know who was very good in this game?
Who?
Steve Guppy.
Aye, that's right. Aye, just whipping in with his left foot.
Aye, what an ability he had for crossing. And you saw that the type of goal that Sutton scored was like a glancing sort of a glancing header, really. And he sort of sprints away from the defender, and you see him sort of like standing at the edge of the box, sort of moving around, and as soon as the ball gets whipped in, he's, in fact, before Guppy's even made contact with the ball from the corner, Sutton's running towards the sort of like diagonal part of the box, the 6-yard line or whatever the fuck it is.
And it wasn't a height that Sutton should be winning that header. You know what I mean? It was a volley height more like.
Well, what the point I'm making here is we had a situation exact same, like about 10 minutes before that on the opposite side, and it was the exact same, except the ball just whizzed past the post by inches, and it was Sutton again. So it was obviously something they'd worked on. And when you've got players like, if you go through the squad, Valharin, Baldi, Larsson, they're all tall guys. Then you've got Sutton, Larsson, and Hartson. Now, obviously, Larsson's the tallest, but he could jump. Hartson was a big guy, and Sutton was a big guy. Guppy was crossing for fun. Yeah. And the idea was just to get the ball into the box, and one of them will meet it. And it was an amazing goal, man. And it was right in front of the Celtic support as well, should add.
Yeah, it was. No one should be scoring from that angle as well. It was a great header, especially against such a goalkeeper like Brad Friedel. I mean, he's not a shit goalkeeper. You know,
of course.
He went for like a 20-year career. So
came off Gillespie. Petrov will go across to take the corner. Of the Celtic supporters, who are having quite a night. Sutton! Oh yes! On the ground where he scored so many for Blackburn Rovers, Chris Sutton probably settles this UEFA Cup tie for Celtic. It was the near post header. Blackburn had been warned. Look at these scenes of jubilation among the Scottish supporters. And this means now that Celtic have a 3-0 aggregate lead. Sutton's header, Friedel could only get a hand to it, and Trevor, Blackburn now need 4. It's impossible, isn't it?
Well, it is impossible, and what a terrific header that was. And remember the one we saw the other side where he just hit it too hard into the side netting. That time, that was the perfect glancing header. Just really didn't take the weight off the cross at all, just glanced it on target. Friedel couldn't react in time. A brilliant header, and no one's deserved it more. Not a surprise now to see Lambert come on, and Hartson, the attacker, then goes off having done an excellent job.
One thing that I thought about was Sutton kind of had a point to prove against the English, because he had that wonderful, like, he won the Premiership with Blackburn, and he's kind of godlike down there. But when he went to Chelsea for £10 million, he was sort of laughed out of England, and then obviously he comes to us, and the rest was, you know, he's part of Celtic's folklore. But he had a bit of maybe a chip in his shoulder. Well, Sutton with a chip in his shoulder is pretty standard these days. But he goes down there with almost a point to prove, and he scores that amazing goal, and he puts in an amazing performance. He doesn't even play up front; he's playing behind the front two, apparently. So, I mean,
he plays wherever he wants, man.
It's an amazing turnaround, and we should add that Larsson's goal was a peach as well. Like, I mean, when you look at it back, it's really funny. Like it's sort of a slip. Like Hartson slips as the ball's played to Hartson. He slips, and the defender who's going to take the ball also slips, but they're not.
Craig
really,
Short, I think it is.
Like they're like maybe like 2 feet apart, so the pitch must have been a shambles. Then there's Larsson, and it's like the sort of like Larsson just pounces, like delicately puts the ball over Fido, and it's to me that technique that Larsson used to sort of lob and sort of, it was his calling card almost. I know he scores a lot of goals with his head, but some of his most memorable goals, such as this, the one against Rangers, where he sort of sprints past and like megs the player and chips claws, like that deft boot that you see like Messi doing quite a lot these days. Like that's kind of Larsson's calling card, and it was a fucking brilliant goal. So 15 minutes in, we've scored, and then the second half we score again in the 60th minute, and then they need 4 to go through, and it's just like absolutely amazing, man.
And before we scored that, we missed an absolute fucking sitter as well. Did you see the one where Larsson breaks in, plays it back to Hartson, and it just has a fresh air swing?
Exactly, Hartson, literally 6 yards from the goalkeeper, 1-on-1, and the ball's coming across and onto his strongest foot, his right foot, and it sort of rolls off and trundles out for a goal kick, and you're just like, fuck, it could have been more. But this is again the press in England were sort of fucking creaming their pants.
Yeah.
over Celtic. And in the next round, once we've got through, we can then the opponents can be Leeds, Fulham, or Liverpool. And I've got a couple more wee things here. Like, I've got some headlines from the newspapers. There'll be red tops and decent newspapers as opposed to just all fucking shite. So one of them was "It's Sooty and Weep."
That obviously doesn't make sense.
Well, it's for Sooty and Sweep. Don't try and pretend you don't fucking know what Sooty and Sweep was. Don't pretend. So anyway, it's Sooty and Weep, the Daily Mirror class. And then I'll take you through some more. Another one was "You've had your chips," obviously in reference to Larson. Another one, "Hen leaves egg on their faces." Right. The Lars laugh. "Kicked up the Lars." I
saw the "kicked up the Lars" one. Yeah.
"Rovers are Sue gutted." Soonest gutted. "Brit tops." And a couple more mature measured headlines from decent papers, like "Celtic strike a blow for Scotland." Which, when you think about it, it was, because there was this, and even more so now, England are like the big fucking ugly rich brother, and we're kind of, in the Scottish League, is sort of sneered at.
We're the cool kind of hipster.
Aye, we're like the cool. Aye, exactly. So for us to go down there and not only go through to the next round of a large European game, we actually played them off the park in the second leg, and they never managed to score against us, and it was against that fucking wank son. Soonest. But I've got a couple of quotes from Martin O'Neill. I'll just say them. I know we're going to be using audio clips, but I'll just say this as a paper clipping. So O'Neill was quite happy with, he said, "Why not Liverpool?" This is obviously before we knew we were getting Liverpool or whoever. "I'm pleased to be in the hat, and from a travelling aspect, I don't want to be going to different climates. If we draw Liverpool or Leeds, it would suit us. I'm not saying we would win, but we would be pleased to play them. Blackburn are doing reasonably well in the Premiership. It's not as if they're languishing at the bottom of the table. Beating them does not make us the best team in the world, but we're not the side people thought we were after the first leg." So kind of indicating that we were kind of not the favourite. We were not the favourites for this game, and parts of the English press certainly wrote us off, but then we rock up and we give them a few jabs.
I think Martin O'Neill was really good at using that as a kind of pep talk as well.
Martin, no doubt, who were the better team that time?
Well, we played very well, Cheek. Very well indeed. We felt that we obviously could play much better than we did in the first game, especially first half, where we hadn't got the ball at all, and that wasn't the Celtic that we know anyway. But this time we got a great goal towards the end of the match, and so we set ourselves up, and we knew that we could play, and we knew we could win the game, and we knew we could score, obviously, and we did that. Great goal by Henrik, kept us going. A great save by Rob Douglas early on, which a big pivotal moment in the match, and but that gave us the confidence to go on and take the game, which we did. And the second goal by Sutton was terrific. We deserved to win.
That must be as satisfying and rewarding a result as you've had as manager of Celtic.
Well, I mean, we've had some really good results, absolutely. I think the time that we qualified against Ajax, when we played them off the pitch in Ajax, didn't play so cleverly at Celtic Park, and some really great results in the Champions League. And funnily enough, beating Valencia last season when we went out in penalty kicks was a big moment. But because there was a bit of pressure, the old thing that was building up here about whether Celtic would be good enough to go and play in the Premiership and all that, and all the pressure was on us. And I'm delighted that the players dealt with the pressure, and they showed their mettle there tonight.
Fabulous performance, well done. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
He's very good with the press, Martin. He's always been very good with the press. But so that takes us into the next round, and that's Blackburn dispatched, and that takes us up to the next round, which is against.
Look at the way Lennon crept in there. That's good play by Lennon. Away goes Lawson, and that will be a booking. There's no doubt about that. Yes, Sergio Fernandez. Because Larson was away.
Yeah, Larson will evade the tackle and get through and goal if he doesn't bring him down, and it really was a professional foul, but Sergio Fernandez had to do it. But hopefully from this free kick we can take advantage, because we have got the big men that can get their head on the ball in the box.
Here's Guppy to take this. Goalkeeper wants his defence to push out a little bit. Now this should have a threat. Played out there, it just swept past. Sutton using his strength again. Very unfortunate. very reminiscent of that shot that he had against Basel, with just inches went wide of the left-hand post. I remember that moment over in Switzerland only too well. Centimetres kept Celtic out of the Champions League that night. Now, that is a very good ball indeed, and it just stops away. It's in. Lawson got the touch. Celtic are 1-up.
Getting the whole place exposed.
And no wonder he's absolutely delighted.
From set pieces come in, the ball into the back post, Baldy and Hartson both going for it. And there he is again, cropping up. All good strikers do that. Sniffing about the 6-yard box. And the ball's in the net, Henrik Larsson.
That is his 24th European goal. Giving absolute delight to this man. How many times has he done that because of Henrik Larsson? And now the Celtic crowd are taking over in the background. Absolutely delighted with that. A goal they deserved.
Celta Vigo, almost like Celtic, but it's Celta. So this is a team that I think were in the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup the season before. Something like that. Yeah, they were.
Again, you made the point that we're playing teams that were kind of sort of doing very well, abnormally doing well, compared to what they've been like previously. In Celta Vigo, we should add that they finished 4th in the La Liga the season that we're talking about, which is 2002-2003. And they finished 4th ahead of Barcelona, Atletico Valencia, and also Athletic Bilbao. And when we played them, they were 5th in La Liga, which was considered the best league in the planet at this point, because this was the season where Ronaldo went back to Real Madrid. Sorry, not back, went to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And, obviously Barca finishing, they were not doing very well, but other teams, Deportivo La Coruña, Real Sociedad were doing quite well, so we weren't playing against
nobodies.
Well, you're not playing against nobodies really anyway when you come to Spain, but Celta Vigo were a very, very good side. They had players like Silvinho, Peter Luchin, Benny McCarthy, Gustavo Lopez, Catania, Edu, Mostovoy, Juanfran.
Yeah. One thing that I've always said to people is that Celta Vigo, that tie was the closest we came to going out of that tournament.
Yeah.
Because Celta Vigo, if we'd played them again in Spain, they could have easily beaten us, because that was a really, really hard tie.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
If it wasn't for like a moment in the second leg, we would have probably been out. That was one of the Celta Vigo at that time were a really, really tight, cohesive team, and it was really hard. It was a really good fucking task that we beat them in the first place. But I mean, the first leg we owned them a bit. I mean, we probably did better against Celta Vigo at home than we did maybe against, I don't know, maybe against like Basel at home, even though we got the 3 goals against Basel. Celta Vigo didn't do much at Celtic Park, but we couldn't get the goals. We had that cunt, is it Claude Colombo, the French referee.
Danny DeVito lookalike.
Aye, he was a little flamboyant, pompous dick.
That's about it.
Strolling about the park, and basically Celta Vigo were allowed to kick us up and down the park, which players like Peter Lucan, and Juanfran, they were having great fun with that. So.
It was a very aggressive tie, let's say. Celtic were really, really good. As you say, we probably deserved to score more than just the 1 goal, and it would have been more comfortable. But the referee did not really have a good game. He lost control of the game, and he was just absolutely erratic. Martin O'Neill gets sent to the stand. He's having arguments. When you watch it back, you see him having arguments with the 4th official, who's like sitting right next to the Celtic dugout. And O'Neill was like quite a fiery wee guy at the best of times, and especially during a game, he's like full of it. He's full of the passion and whatnot. But you see him back and forth. At the end of the game, he ends up getting sent off, and then it transpires that the referee and the 4th official were like pushing O'Neill. Like they were actually physically
manhandling him. Yeah.
The term that was used was manhandling, and they were talking about how we're going to appeal this. We'll get to that when we talk about the second leg. But the point we're trying to make here is someone, was it Chris 1888 again, tweeted us like the ref was a fucking dick, and it's right, the ref could not control the game. It was actually a really nasty game. But Celtic had some great. Celtic played. I thought Celtic played very well.
Aye, definitely. I mean, as we're talking about, against a good team, we got a clean sheet, which was obviously vital in this kind of tournament. And yeah, I mean, we got the goal, and that was all we really needed in the end. But at that point, I remember leaving the stadium thinking to myself, this is going to be hard to go, because obviously at this point we'd never put a Spanish team out of European competition.
Yeah. And this was like, just to point out that Larsson obviously scored the goal. I'll take you through the team, as I like to do. Douglas, Volharen, Balde, Larsson, Agat, Lennon, Sutton, Petrov, Guppy, Larsson, Hartson. So it's more or less the exact same team as before. Obviously no real reason to change it. And the goal that we score is classic Larsson, really, because the ball, it's funny when you watch it back, the little things that you notice when you're like scrutinising, you don't really know. It's a corner that comes in, and Balde and Hartson both challenge for it. The two worlds collide there. Literally, these guys are fucking monsters. And I think Balde gets the touch, and it sort of bounces, and it's a really awkward one, and it's in front of the goalkeeper. And Larsson has a Celta player on either side, two defenders, and Larsson manages to jump between both of them and head it in. Classic Larsson. Absolutely. Yep. How he manages to get up, not only like guys are taller than him, but up before them, between two of them, while they're pulling him down, and still manage to put the ball in the net. And it's funny, you see Larsson wheels away, and Balde's like, I think Balde thinks he scored. Balde's like sprinting to the dugout, every cunt's running the opposite direction, and Balde's like running away celebrating. You're like, mate, it wasn't you. One thing I should point out, one of the highlights for me was Balde's wee jobby tash. He had this little fucking shite goatee. It's so funny, man. But anyway,
he was going undercover. That's what it was doing.
It was. Oh, what a terrible fucking thing. But again, it was Larsson's 24th European goal for Celtic, and this was his 25th goal of the season. So that's what I meant. 25th goal for Celtic this season, and we're only in November the 28th in the third round, which is incredible.
Fucking what a man.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
I want to go to Helsingborg and just sing the Henrik Larsson song for
totally.
90 minutes.
I mean, the way things are going, obviously, that, you know, with Rodgers being here, he'll be here for a while, but it's fate that Larsson will come to Celtic as manager. He's worked up, he's working.
Don't want it.
Well, let's see how he does. Obviously, he was offered the chance and he said no, which worked out well for us. A couple other wee things. Hartson got booked for diving. Hartson was very good in this game. Hartson got booked for diving. And he gets straight back up and never claimed for a penalty, but still got booked. Like, he literally hit the deck, it was a bit of a dive, got straight back up, walked round and sort of chased the ball and got booked. The Celta players surrounded the ref. Yeah. Horrible, like that horrible side of football that you kind of see sometimes. But that's it. And it turns out Hartson, they did not like Hartson in the end, and Hartson sort of roughed them up, which takes us into the second game.
Aye, and at the end of that first game, one of the players, Miguel Latina, says basically you're nothing without your fans. You're not going to have 60,000 Celtic fans in Vigo, so you're going to be pumped, basically.
I think Latina was their manager.
Oh, was he? Okay.
I think he was the manager. I should point out that Berizzo, who played both games against Celtic, was a defender, Argentine international, is the current manager of Celta Vigo.
Is he? Oh, okay.
So the guy that was playing, he's currently in charge just now.
Guidetti up front.
With Guidetti in that. I actually don't mind them. I don't know, like, I don't really mind them that much, but I haven't revisited this game, like, and you see how the players reacted and stuff like that. I know after this period they sort of went downhill, and I think they got relegated maybe in between now and the period we're talking about, but that's besides the point. So that takes us to the 12th of December. And now we're now in with a real chance of the first time of getting European football beyond Christmas, the first time in 23 years.
Mental, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. It's just not even worth thinking about. But we go over there, and we play Douglas, Agat, Volharen, Balde, Larsson, Petrov, Lennon, Thompson, Larsson, Sutton, and Hartson. So we've dropped Guppy, and we've dropped. Who else have we dropped? We dropped Lambert, and McNamara obviously comes in off the bench. But like when you watch this game back, and you forget how tense it was, because they obviously they took the lead, we equalise, and then they score again, and then we play something like, I don't know, we play like 35 minutes plus change with They just need one goal. They're at home. They're in the ascendancy, and we're just like digging in, and it was a nasty game.
Terrifying.
But, oh my goodness, horrible watching it back. You still get those feelings, you know. Like,
who was the guy? Was it Lopez? What was his first name?
Gustavo.
He was like a tricky winger, man. Every time he got the ball, it was terrifying.
He was an Argentine international. They weren't a team. They were a team of decent pedigree. They had quite a lot of internationals. Benny McCarthy, for example. Juan Fran played for Spain. Berizzo played for Argentina. And they also had that guy Pinto. He was a goalkeeper who famously went on to be Barcelona's sort of
number 3.
No, I think he was number 2, but he was sort of happy being the number 2. That he had like stupid cornrows and all that sort of shit. But anyway, so that takes it up to Vigo.
Ojo allá la lucha de Hartson. Ha marcado el Celtic. Gol de John Hartson. Piden falta, pero John Hartson acaba de empatar el partido.
So my brother was at the game, and I asked him to give me some kind of stories about it, and he says that first of all, he says going into the game, he's seen a Celtic fan getting battened from the Spanish police at turnstiles for having the audacity to ask where he was supposed to go. So obviously it was a bit of a powder keg from the off. I think you got a story with some kind of violence in it as well about Vigo.
It's pretty much the same thing. I'll talk you through it. It's from a guy on Twitter. His name is @Smitty1888CFC. He is also a musician, I should point out, and he does like do some gigs in like the Ruggy Vogue and places like that, and he does like rebel tunes and that. So if you're interested, he's gigging quite a lot. He's actually playing right now, because I was trying to get this on audio, but it wasn't possible. So
what's his name for gigging?
I don't know. He's @Smitty1888CFC. Cool. So you'll get him there, and he posts them on there. He plays gigs every weekend, and he's playing regularly. So he says he was in 5th year, and his dad took him on an unofficial trip. He didn't have any issues getting tickets from Celtic because he thinks it was quite close, because it was close to close to Christmas time. But the 12th of December is 2 weeks before Christmas. So I mean, it's Celtic fans going over there, so it's pretty mad. At that time, he said he got the flight out on Thursday morning, was straight home after the game. The first tie obviously was nervy. He spoke about the referee, the Colombo guy that we spoke about, who luckily obviously the referee doesn't continue in the second leg. I think we got a Danish guy in the second leg. The day trip,
Larsen.
Dane for sure. As usual with the day trips, you land about midday and you can't wait to get in amongst the Celtic fans. Vigo was like a small fishing village. Really nice place. He was only 16 or 17, but his dad let him have a few bevies. He said that was quite good. He says, outside one of the pubs there was a group of Celtic fans with massive carry-out bottles of beer, vodka, whiskey, and then about 6 o'clock a group of Spanish people came out, all well dressed, looking quite posh, and they started ordering their like cafe con leches and their coffees and smoking cigars under the patio heaters, because that part of Spain up in the northwest is like famous for being really cold and rainy, kind of like Scotland. So in December it would just be similar to the weather in Scotland. So people sitting under heaters and that. Probably Celtic fans were wearing shorts and stuff like that. Perhaps half crew, but that's how it goes. He says one of the Celtic fans was asking about if anyone had a bottle opener to open the bottles. Some Celtic fan took it off and just sort of cracked it open with his teeth, and the Spanish were absolutely horrified. The Spanish were looking on, thinking they've never seen anything like that before. Says getting into the ground was bedlam. The Celtic fans in the corner behind the goal were Hartson scored, but we also had part of the stand opposite the main stand, running right along the touchline, which if you look back at the game you can see Celtic fans sort of
that's where my brother was.
Yeah, like along one of the main stands. He says, as with every away game, as you pointed out, the Blackburn one, like it was every man for themselves. And the police were knocking fuck out of us. That's exactly what he said. Seen loads of guys split heads split open, and you know what the Spanish police were like. He says that they would hit you first and ask questions later. He doesn't remember much about the game, but Hartson scoring and celebrating and thinking that we're going to give a foul. Now, we never actually pointed out, but the goal that Hartson scored
is probably a foul.
I don't know because I couldn't find a decent enough replay to know. But Hartson sort of spins and hits it first time, and it's a really, really good finish. I can remember
it was like the only chance we got at the game as well. I can't remember any other chance apart from that.
Yeah. He said that it was a really important win over 2 legs. And obviously we progressed in the competition, and it was the first time we'd reached European football after Christmas, which was obviously, as I said, the first time in 23 years. He says the airport was after the game, he went straight to the airport because he was on an unofficial trip, like in and out. He says it was crawling with riot police. He was sitting near a guy in a wheelchair who ended up taking a tanking off one of them. A wheelchair. He had a Basque flag draped across him, went up to a copper with a can of beer and jokingly offered him some. He turned away and the copper started battering him.
Jesus Christ.
He said that a few Celtic fans get hit as well. Loads of police charged towards the stewards. Brian Quinn's son took a bit of a doing, and his picture made the newspaper the next day. And apparently there was a flight leaving for Belfast. It was full of like Belfast hymns, and someone said loads of the Belfast guys were like just openly scrapping with the cops, and someone saying, the Belfast boys don't give a fuck, they'll fight with the police all the time. So it was quite funny. But he says overall the trip was a very good trip, and he does highlight that Vigo were a very, very good side. He said that all season ticket holders who went to Suduva and Vigo were guaranteed Seville tickets. So
is that right? Okay. Alright. Well, my brother says that so he and his friend were in that section to the touchline, basically the side that the camera is facing towards the right of the halfway line.
Yep.
And he says him and his friend Martin were so drunk at half time, his friend Martin turned to him and said, "We've done it." And my brother, being just as pissed as him, says, "I know." And they were hugging and celebrating and jumping up and down before realising that the Vigo fans weren't leaving and it was only half time. And then actually we saw my brother on the TV, so we were like fucking trying to see him every time that went by.
Yeah.
And the only time he gets on TV for like a extended period is when Hizule is overtaking a throw in. My brother's doing a wanker sign behind him. Yeah. So, and he also says that at the end of the game, there was Vigo fans and above them, the tier above, and wanted to swap shirts. So my brother threw his up without having any kind of replacement. So he was just standing like taps off for a good few seconds before the guy finally threw this like double XL stinking of BO shirt down that my brother had to wear the whole way home. So that was Vigo basically, and that was, as I said, the first time we'd knocked a Spanish team out of Europe, and would be the first of two in consecutive seasons, because the next season we would pump Barcelona out of the UEFA Cup as well.
Yep. Well, I mean, we were very close the season before this. Did we not play Valencia the season before the one we're talking about?
No, that would have been two seasons. That would have been the season. Aye, because we would have gone out the UEFA Cup.
We get put out the group stages. What a tough year that was. But one thing I want to point out was the injury time that was given in this game in Vigo. There were 4 minutes.
Aye.
And like I don't know if you remember it or you watched it back, but you see they have a free kick, like I don't know, not that far out from the box. They have a free kick and they've got every single man, including the goalkeeper, up. And it must have been 4 minutes injury time, because the free kick was given about 3 minutes 50, and then by the time they go to hit it, it's like just over 4 minutes, and they don't even get a chance. The ref blows the whistle before they even kick the ball, and they were absolutely fucking raging. They were absolutely fucking bealing.
It's terrifying, man.
They were like when you watch it back, you see the Celta players, like they're actually physically grabbing the ref's arms, like holding on to his arms and all that. Nothing obviously gets done. But I was on the Celtic wiki, they had Spanish newspapers, and I tried my best to sort of thing it, but they were saying it was like it must have been like a local paper. I think it was a clear, like the headline was, "It's a clear foul on Berizzo." That's obviously in reference to Hartson giving the guy a bit of a nudge and then spinning and scoring the goal, so they're kind of sore about that. And they also said the ref sort of gave a day pass to the Catholics, which most people in Spain are Catholics as well. I don't know why we've been designated more Catholic than them.
We're deemed as the Catholics in Germany as well. I think it's just a thing.
I mean, Spain is a famous Catholic country, but that's besides the point. So I should point out, we spoke previously about O'Neill and his treatment at the wee Danny DeVito referee Claude Colombo in the previous leg. Celtic took it to UEFA, and O'Neill got his ban rescinded, so he was in the dugout for that game, which is an important thing. But you're right. One chance, one goal, and Hartson. Like, for all his faults nowadays, Hartson was a great player for Celtic. He was just, and another thing that stood out about these two ties, Celta did not like the physical. They did not like us being quite physical, and we had a team full of brutes. Hartson, Sutton, Thompson was a bit of a basher. We had Lennon, we had Volharen, Balde, Larson. team full of guys that were willing to put a bit of a tackle in, and they didn't like that, and they struggled with the physicality of us.
They like to sneak it, the sneaky kicks, but they didn't like the kind of actual.
Like the 50-50, like the physical, like real physical challenges. So that takes us into Christmas.
And next stop Stuttgart, which we're going to be talking about next week. And so next week we're going to actually it'll be in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about Stuttgart, Liverpool, Boavista, and then obviously the final. Before we do so, we've got some feedback about the first kind of half of the road to Seville. At Masty Boy says, I was at every game in that run, never seen the Blackburn game though. I got splattered by a police car coming out of the pub on the way to the game.
Splattered?
Yeah, actually splattered. I don't know if he get knocked down or if he, like, I don't know, but he says he gets splattered. So I know a guy that went to the Barcelona game the next season, and as we were walking up to the stadium, he like gave some fucking backtrack to the Spanish police, and they get huckled before the game. He spent the night in the cells, didn't even see the game. I think that one of the life lessons for going to games in Spain, if like for Celtic fans going to games in Spain, everyone knows just avoid the police. Like, they do not fuck around. They just, well, like that guy said, they hit like punch you first, questions later. Enough. There's no comeuppance for them. They just do it. You know, they kind of do what they want. My mate actually saved me in Ibiza once. It wasn't a Celtic game round, obviously, but it was. I decided I wanted to get on one of the policeman's fucking motorbikes, so I'm trying to climb on, and the policeman turns around just as my mate's dragging me off it. If I'd climbed on his motorbike, I think I'd get fucking rattled, man. But almost certainly. So at Mannyboy67 says paid 150 quid for a ticket in the Blackburn end for the Celtic Park game. Got kicked out when Celtic done the huddle. Class. Robert Sherry at politest_Ouija said, loved this story that apparently a percentage of total airfare and passengers before and after the game were Celtic fans. I think he might be talking about the final, so we'll maybe talk about that later on. Yeah. We've got the one from Chris about Cloud Colombo and about the Larson hat trick. And we've also got one, I don't know if you, like, I've clicked on this guy's tweet, and I don't know if you've said something about it or if I've said something about it, but he's not referenced the tweet that we've been talking about. All we said is Kyle_Mulholland has said, gorgeous George Samaras, ? And I've got no idea what the fuck he's talking about. I saw that myself, no idea. So we need some clarification with that, I think. Yeah, Kyle, if you want to get in touch and tell us what you're talking about. But I agree that George Samaras is gorgeous, but I don't know what that's in reference to. So yeah, as I said, Seville Part 2 will be in 2 weeks' time. Let's move on to the modern day stuff.
I'm down here for your soul. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. A little carpet on the floor, and the winding clock holds many moths around your Ku Klux furniture. I come me death's head in your frock, and I ain't down here for your money. I ain't down here for your love. I ain't down here for your love or money. I'm down here for your soul. Oh, happy day. 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 When Jesus was. When Jesus was. When Jesus was. When Jesus was, he washed my tears away.
What did you think of the game?
Standard routine Celtic performance at home. nothing really to write home about.
No, it seemed as if we had a bit of the FIFA flu, like the kind of coming back from international was looked a bit lethargic. I think we were missing Big Tam Rogic quite a bit as well in midfield.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case because I don't know, man. I just feel like we ran out quite comfortable winners. I don't think we really missed anyone, to be honest. It was just a case of the players that we had turned up, done the job, and I was curious about Rogic and also Beaton. That's what I wanted to ask. Like, I'm going to assume in Lustig as well. I assume they're either being rested. I don't remember Beaton picking up an injury. Do you?
Apparently, Beaton and Lustig came home early from their international because of slight knocks.
Right. So just keeping.
And
it was
Rogic
a perfect
just because of his travelling.
Yeah, it was a perfect game for rotation, to be honest. We brought in Henderson and Armstrong and Gamboa. Henderson completely fine, wasn't amazing, but he's proved with that one game anyway. It's difficult to say that he's going to prove long term, but useful in a game where we need to do squad rotation games that are necessary because we've got a very, very big week coming up. We're going to talk about Gladbach in a minute, and then we've got another game.
He didn't do anything more or anything less than Near Beaton's done for the last kind of year.
Yeah.
You know, like I thought it was fine. I didn't think Stuart Armstrong did much. I don't know, like you would expect more from him because he's in a more offensive position. But I don't know, like we didn't create much in the first half, and I think a lot of the players were maybe holding back a little bit, knowing that we've got such a kind of tough couple of weeks. Maybe this was one that they thought that we could do an autopilot, and it probably was one we could do an autopilot.
Well, there's a couple of players that definitely weren't on autopilot, and one of them was Dembele, and the other was Kieran Tierney.
Yeah.
We keep going on, like there's no point in going on and on about these guys because they're absolutely brilliant. Tierney's the best prospect we've had, and I'm going to say it, he is the best prospect since McStay.
Definitely.
And Dembele, like the desire to
maybe
to
Steve Hilton,
potentially Simon Donnelly, Brian McLaughlin, wee Brian McLaughlin. But Dembele, like the desire to chase that nothing ball down and actually get in front of that goalkeeper. I have to say that goalkeeper's not actually that bad. He sort of kept him in the game longer than we would normally have taken more off him. But it's just a nothing game really. But Dembele to show the desire, and the goalkeeper was quite unlucky. Dembele got there first, and then he scores the goal. And it's funny. I think Dembele, not funny but interesting. Dembele always goes left with his penalties, but he went right, and the goalkeeper went left.
Thinking he was going to go there. Yeah.
Aye, and he went the opposite one. And big Dembele, man, he just see with players like Dembele, players like Griffiths, Sinclair, definitely Sinclair, and even Forrest will always have a chance of scoring against any team. And we also have a good chance of winning these games, and that's why when it comes to playing like these zombies next week, the biggest concern I have is the stadium. That's the only thing that really worries me because Hampden is a dump. It's a void for us. It's never been good for us. But
at least we get the pitch. The pitch shouldn't be as bad as it's been in recent years, and because this is only October. I mean, the last couple of times it's been late in the year. And
no, that's a good point.
So hopefully it won't be so bad.
The fact that you're even talking about that and it's the national fucking stadium is just embarrassing. But like with players like Griffiths, Dembele, and Sinclair, you're just guaranteed to have like at least 2 or 3 golden chances, and
then Roberts coming off the bench as well.
And yesterday we actually had at one point we had Griffiths, Dembele, Sinclair, Forrest, and Roberts all playing at the same time. When we're 1-0 up, and Rodgers is like, I'm just going to try and kill the game. I'm just going to kill this game off. We're going to score 2 more goals, and that's it. And it's a gamble. But teams like Motherwell, when they come to Celtic Park, that's the kind of games you can get away with that ridiculous, like 2 up front and like all out attack, and then we get the goal with the last few minutes, and it was always going to be a win for Celtic. No real threat there. It's just a routine win, and that's why I'm not really sure we missed players like Rogic, because it's just one of those games that nobody's going to remember in years to come. It's just a standards. It's just good. It was just honestly just good to be back, because the international push that we've been subjected to.
I'm getting lost with it, man. I hate the fact that every year, my birthday is September 7th, and every year it's a fucking international weekend, man. It fucking kills me. I hate it.
It's annoying that it's like the seasons just get back, and obviously the one you mentioned is the start of September, and then there's a month, 4 weeks later, and you're just like, for fuck's sake, get the fuck. But
the one in September is even worse, because it's always the weekend after the fucking transfer window's closed. So if we sign players, then we don't get to see them because it's a fucking international weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So yesterday, I take it we're just both chalking that up to a Celtic win, and that's the end of it. There's nothing to write home about. No, I mean Tierney. We don't need to go on about Tierney. That chance he had was just incredible.
The chance that he made from almost the halfway line. I mean, it was tremendous. There's nothing left to say about him. He's doing it, and he's continuing to do it week in, week out. He's the best left back in Scotland by a fucking country mile. He must be up there. I can't think of many left backs. He must be top 5 in Britain. I mean, who else? But let's think. I mean, when you look at teams like Chelsea and Manchester United, who have they got at left back? Luke Shaw. I mean, is Luke Shaw any better than Kieran Tierney?
I mean, it's too difficult to quantify that because they're playing at completely different standards. But I don't know. The thing is with Tierney, he's only 19 as well. He's just a wee guy. Is he even 19? Is he 18?
No, he's 19 now.
Right. He's just such a wee guy. We're running out of things to say about him. Everyone seems to think a collective thought is that he will be the next captain. He will captain us to the 10.
Hopefully.
Which I really do, and it's amazing. But the good thing about yesterday, there was no real issues with regards to players being injured, and as I say, we rotated the squad quite well and quite nice. And
I think it was a combination of eyes on Wednesday and the kind of acknowledgement that the international break had just happened. Yeah. I heard that there was an interview with Liam Henderson, and Liam Henderson said that Brendan Rodgers came to him and told him that he would be probably playing in this game before the international break happened. So it looks to me as if Brendan Rodgers had kind of signposted this game as one where he could maybe make a kind of change to rest players.
Yeah,
and had his eye on this from a few weeks ago. So it's good that, I mean, apparently he said to Liam Henderson, go and have your international break with under 21s, get your games, and if everything goes well, you'll start against Motherwell.
Yeah,
I like that kind of management. I mean, everything that Rodgers is doing at the moment just seems to be turning to gold.
Yeah.
He seems like a cracking manager. You know, like
and
there was a quote from, sorry, just to finish here, there was a quote from Siutchenko where he says something like, as the manager says, it's something like, make sure you're aiming for fucking the top of the stadium, you know what I mean? Like, don't be aiming to be like the best on the pitch, just make sure you're the fucking top that you can be, you know. So he's getting these messages across to people, so yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah, I think after the game yesterday, Rodgers, when he went on the pitch after the game, as the whistle blew, I think he made a beeline for Henderson and had his arm around him.
Aye.
I think he spoke to him a little bit, and as you say, man management seems to be his one of his strongest points. So, long may it continue. It takes us into Gladbach, who are obviously fucking shite just now, but they're
capitulating a little bit.
Yeah, they since we last spoke, they got beat 4-0 off Schalke, and we
5-0, I think it was, man.
Was it 5? We spoke about how shite Schalke are in the Bundesliga, and then Hamburg, who are relegation fodder. Hopefully they get relegated because they're cunts. they drew with Hamburg at the weekend, and as we spoke about, Hazard seems to be a doubt.
Hazard, Raphael as well.
Raphael is out as far as I know, because he tore a muscle 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not really. It was against Barca. He tore a muscle, so I don't foresee him coming back for this game at all.
The thing about this game was that Hamburg had 10 men from the 25th minute, and that, like, so obviously it wouldn't be as tiring for Gladbach because they were playing against 10 men, but that fucking mental blow that basically Gladbach had come to Celtic Park having been beaten by Barcelona in the last few minutes. They then get pumped by the bottom of the table, and then they couldn't even beat fucking 10 men Hamburg at home after missing 2 penalty kicks during the 90 minutes.
Yeah,
they must be coming to Celtic Park in an absolute fucking downer, man.
Well, that's the little scared person inside me is like, they're a wounded animal, and like, it's not really. I feel like maybe this is not the best time to play them or something. I can't really explain it, but you know, when a team are, you expect, when Celtic are not the underdogs in Europe, you're like, that's kind of when things can go wrong for us. But this is the best chance out of the entire group stage that we have to take 3 points. This game is the one that everyone thought, okay, we can almost certainly take 3 points from them at home. The away game is different, but this game coming up is going to be pivotal for us for any sort of progression.
Aye, and if we can win, the thing about this is that Gladbach are best when they're counter attacking. But the only thing against that would be how, as we've spoken about before in the podcast, is how awful their away records have been in the last 6-8 months. I mean, last season they did take the points off Bayern Munich by being this kind of counter-attacking team, but they just don't seem to have it about them as much this season. They just don't seem to be getting these points away from home. So if they do sit in completely and make us try and break them down, it's going to be hard, because I think we struggle when teams like sit back like that, especially if the teams get quality, and especially if they're going to be hitting us in like really fast counter-attacks and stuff like that. It's going to be a hard game because of what you said, because of this kind of expectation on us. But on paper, I mean, we should be winning this game.
I think so. And one thing that's going to be extremely important on Wednesday is the fans. And if they continue where they left off from the Man City game, and we're kind of lucky that massive Man City game, the next game happens to be the one that we think we've got a better chance of actually winning and taking something from. We're quite lucky that the two of them, this is straight after that, and hopefully the feel-good factor should still be there.
Aye.
And the fans have got a massive part to play, and I'm sure they will. And I think with the fans lifting them, and with, as I say, we've got players that can score goals from anywhere. Dembele and Sinclair's just amazing, man. He's just amazing. I mean, you get players like him in your team, you've always got a chance of scoring goals. So I'm not really one for making predictions or anything like that. Like, I expect Celtic to score anyway. I don't really know anything else about Gladbach to suggest that they're going to pose a real threat. They're 9th in the Bundesliga just now, so I don't know, man.
Yeah. We'll see. And then obviously this weekend coming, we have the Zombies at Hampden, as we spoke about a second ago.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think I've got anything else to add that we've not spoken about. I mean, we're the better team than them. They've improved slightly in team cohesion over the last couple of weeks because they've got rid of fucking Joy Barton.
Yeah.
And they look to be starting to get some kind of results together. I didn't see the game, but I heard that Cali Thistle had just as many chances as they had in the last game, and could have equalised and stuff like that. So I saw that their fucking defence was Clint Hill and Rob Tiernan, or is it Rob Kiernan or Tiernan?
Rob Zombie,
exactly. So the two of them were their central defence. If they go with those two, Tavernier and Lee Wallace, we should get at least 3 goals against them. You know what I mean? So it's just as well we can. If we can not let 3 goals in, then we should beat them.
The biggest problem is Hampden. Hampden's just got this to do, but things are different now for Celtic. We've got Brendan Rodgers as manager. We've got quality throughout the team. He dropped Kolo Touré yesterday, who will come in and play on Wednesday. And even if for some reason Touré wasn't available, Sviatchenko and Simunovic seem to be doing quite well anyway. Simunovic seems to be pretty fucking good. Sviatchenko is decent enough. So I don't know. We've got a quite decent squad depth now, and Celtic should really beat them. On Sunday. I'm not really sweating it. Obviously, when the time comes, you'll be nervous because it's essentially just bragging rights. But we took the points off them in the league, which was the main thing, and we gave them a fucking sore face in the process, which I also quite enjoyed.
Aye. And speaking of, it's just when you're speaking of defenders there, did you see Owen O'Connell's Twitter recently?
Nah.
He went to get fucking hammered, and he was just typing up the lyrics to Grace on his Twitter.
Really?
So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and he was just typing out Grace on his Twitter. Like, most of the tweets were deleted the next day, but I think one of them was still there. And fucking Liam Henderson done the same thing a couple of days ago as well.
Excellent.
So, nice to see the players out enjoying themselves.
Alright, that's it.
So I guess that's, unless you've got anything else to say about the zombie game.
Nothing. I just want to ask for the part 2, which is going to be recorded in a fortnight. Can you, if anyone has any anecdotes, send them in at tweet, audio, whatever. Fucking send them by Raven. Send them in. We can talk about them. Give a bit more colour and a bit more depth to the content what we're doing just now. Also, Graham, where can people find us?
You can find us at Boys Abroad on Twitter, or you can email us at historyboys@gmail.com.
And we can also be found on the Hail Hail Media Network, and also if you search on your iTunes or your Podcast Addict or Spreaker or Google or anything, we pop up.
Aye, we do pop up. That's one of my traits, man. I like to pop up. So,
yep.
As Tony said, we're going to go fortnightly from now on, just because it gives us a bit of time to do the research on some of the history things. Obviously, some of the topics are bigger than others. We want to do these. We've got ones lined up that we want to do about George Connolly, and we want to interview his son. Is it son, grandson?
Aye, we've got ideas of interviewing people, interviewing other Celtic fans, and talking about, not necessarily focusing on a specific Celtic topic, but I think with the fortnightly thing, it's not really changing a great deal just now anyway. But it would give us more room to
get these things done.
Aye, but to sort of polish it up a little bit and put more into it and give it a bit more depth. I'm sounding like a pure wank right now, but it's true. Like with more time, we can make it, probably try and make it better. So here's hoping.
Exactly. Yeah. So thanks for downloading us and listen to the rest of the Hail Hail Media stuff, because it's pure good and stuff. And follow us on Twitter, tell all your friends about us, and we'll speak to you in 2 weeks' time.
Turn left up the street, nothing but grey concrete and deadbeats. Grab something to eat, Mackie D's or KFC. Only one choice in the city. Dumb voice in my pity, now let's get to the nitty gritty. Tune reminds me of my first D. Like unique, still 16 and feeling horny. Point to the sky, feel free. See a people all equal, smiles in front and behind me. Swim in the deep blue sea, cornfields sway lazily. All smiles, all easy. Where you from, what's you on and what's your story? Mesmerising tones, rising pianos, this is my zone, so stop cloning. Pick paper, scissors or stone. 'Cause me and you are the same. Known you all my life, I don't know your name. Her name's European Bob, sorted. Anyway, have a dance now, see you later. Pleased to meet you, likewise, a pleasure. We were just standing in my narrow home. We went on and on. You all smile, you all sing. We become heroes. You all sing, sing. We were just standing in my narrow home. We went on and on. You all smile, you all sing. We become heroes and the stars align. You all sing, sing. The night slowly fades and goes slow motion. All the commotion becomes floating emotions. Same piano loops over. Arms wave, eyes roll back and jaws fall open. Seeing soft focus. Chatting to this bloke in the toilets. Dizzy new heights, blinded by the lights. These people are for life. It's all back to his place at the end of the night. Yo, they could settle wars with this. If only they will. Imagine the world's leaders on pills. And imagine the morning after. Wars causing disaster. Don't talk to me, I don't know ya. But this ain't tomorrow, and for now I still love ya. Hours fly over. Sail round, diamonds and pearls. Never seen so many fit girls. Discover new worlds. Look at my watch, can't focus. Last 2 hours are lost. Every move fills me with lust. All of life's problems I just shake off. Hell, mad little events happen. Things map out and a few blue maddens are like the toilets. Big beefy bouncers out to reveal us. Geezers on ease and first timers. Kids on whiz, darlings on Charlie. All come together for this party. All races, many faces from places you never heard of. Where you from, what's your name and what you want. Sing to the words, effects to the fat ones. The tribal drums, sun's rising. We all smile, we all sing. We were just standing in my narrow home. We went on and on. You all smile, you all sing. We become heroes and the stars align. You all sing, sing. We were just standing in my narrow home. We went on and on. You all smile, you all sing.
sing, we all sing, sing. Then the girl in the cafe taps me on the shoulder. I realise 5 years went by and I'm older. Memories smoulder, winter's colder, but that same piano loops over and over and over. The road shines and the rain washes away. Same Chinese takeaway selling shit in a tray. It's dark all round, I walk down. Same sights, same sounds, new beats though. Solid concrete under my feet, no surprises, no treats. The world stands still as my mind sloshes round. The washing up bowl in my crown. My life's been up and down since I walked from that crowd.
We were just standing like an arrow home. We went on and on.
You all smile, you all sing.
We become heroes and the stars align.
You all sing, you all sing, sing.
We were just standing like an arrow home. We went on and on.
You all smile, you all sing.
We become heroes and the stars align.
You all sing, you all sing, sing. Out of respect for Johnny Walker, Paul Oakenfold, Nicky Holloway, Danny Rampling, and all the people who gave us these times. And to the government I stick my middle finger up with regards to the criminal justice bill. For all the heroes I met along the way. You all sing, you all sing, sing.
We become heroes and the stars align.
You all sing, you all sing, sing.
We were just standing like an arrow home. We went on and on.
You all smile, you all sing.
We become heroes and the stars align.
You all sing, you all sing, sing.